In 1683, a cry of terror rang through Europe. The Turks are at the gates of Vienna. The city, fortified like no other, had seemed impregnable. Yet the Turks had besieged it for 62 days, bombarding the Löbel bastion to soften it up for the assault. To the Viennese, the outlook seemed hopeless. Only their Polish allies could save them now. But would they arrive in time to break through the Turkish lines?
Einverstanden. Gebt das Zeichen, wir greifen heute an!
For Habsburg Austria and its allies in the Holy League, only one decision was possible: to attack, or Vienna would be lost. But the Turks had been tipped off.
Die Mine soll noch vor dem Abend gezündet werden. Allah wird unsere Feinde vernichten.
On the 12th of September 1683, Kara Mustafa staked everything on his sappers. Just one more mine and Vienna would fall.
Das sieht verdammt übel aus. Wir haben starke Verluste. Ja. Erstatten Sie Bericht. Wir können uns nicht mehr lange halten. Ich verlasse mich auf Sie.
The soldiers manning the walls were exhausted. It was now a matter of hours. But the city commander had sworn to defend Vienna to the last drop of blood. Beneath the Löbel bastion, Turkish sappers were already positioning barrels of gunpowder. Could the defenders prevent them from detonating this last decisive mine? The fall of Vienna would open the door for the Ottomans to conquer all of Western Christendom.
Your Majesty, I was the only one who dared, at great risk to my life, to bring letters through the terrible Turkish camp.
Georg Mikhailovich was the Austrian Emperor's courier. From eyewitness reports, he will tell the story of a day that made history.
On the 12th of September 1683, all our hopes vanished. The Turkish sappers had succeeded in blasting a large breach in the Löbel bastion. Day after day, our ranks suffered fresh dead and wounded. Only a few of us were left to fight our arch-enemies. Now, only the troops of the Holy League could save Vienna. In the darkness, I searched desperately for a sign. Where was the relief force, without which we would be lost?
Was macht der Kopfschuss, Euer Exzellenz?
Danke, Michailowitz, es geht schon wieder. Mehr Kopfzerbrechen bereiten mir die Minen der Türken. Wenn sie es schaffen, noch eine zu zünden, ist die Stellung nicht mehr länger zu halten und Wien steht ihnen offen. Und dann gnade uns Gott. Die Türken werden fürchterlich unter uns wüten.
Mit Verlaub, Euer Exzellenz. Vielleicht hält man sie mit ihrem Turban ja für einen Türken. Dann haben sie nichts zu fürchten.
A Turkish camp of 25,000 tents lay all around Vienna. The Viennese were encircled. There was no escape. Above ground, the Turks had dug a system of approach trenches all the way to the fortress walls. Underground, they were tunneling in order to explode mines at specific locations along the walls. The collapsed walls would provide perfect ramps for their assault.
The Turks had exploded 41 mines. Like rabbits and moles, they were burrowing under our feet day and night. They could detonate a new charge at any time. Were they already preparing the next blast? We had a simple but brilliant idea. We put dried peas on a drum. The peas moved. Somewhere below us, Turkish sappers were at work. A new explosion was coming, but we knew neither when nor where. Starrenberg had a rocket sent up into the night sky. Our last desperate cry for help to the army of our allies.
Istanbul, on the Bosphorus, formerly Constantinople. In 1453, the Muslim Ottomans conquered the ancient capital of the Eastern Roman Empire. That was just the beginning of a huge drive to expand their own empire. When acceding to the throne, every sultan had to promise, "We will meet again at the Golden Apple." Beyond the Muslim world was the world of the infidel. It was every Muslim's duty to subject the whole world to Islam. And in 1683, Vienna was the golden or scarlet apple.
Kızıl elma bu Türk tarihinin çok umumi bir efsanesi, bir genişleme hedefidir. Bu aslında çok doğuya has bir şeydir. Bir zamanlar Kızıl Elma İstanbul'du. O fethedildikten sonra papalık merkezine Roma'ya yöneldi. Ve şimdi de zamanın politikası icabı Viyana'dır. Bu bir mitostur ve daha çok halk ve askerler, askeri kitle için geçerlidir. Ve geçerliliğini de 18. asra kadar muhafaza edebilmiştir.
From Constantinople, the Ottomans wanted to create an empire as great as Rome's. They had already conquered the Balkans and Hungary. Their rule was absolute. However, they allowed their subject peoples to retain their Christian faith. Vienna, set between the Alps and the Carpathians, was the gateway to Central Europe, the key to the Ottomans' planned path of conquest. This made the city their prime target. Suleiman the Magnificent laid siege to Vienna for the first time in 1529. He failed. The second siege of Vienna began in June 1683. This time, Kara Mustafa led the invaders. But the Ottomans were not the only enemy Austria faced. There was also France.
Für die Habsburger gab es immer so etwas wie eine Art zweite Front. Eine war im Westen, eine war im Osten. Während des 30-jährigen Kriegs hat man dem Sultan Ehrengeschenke gemacht, damit es im Osten ruhig bleibt. Und im Augenblick, wo der 30-jährige Krieg vorbei war, hören die Ehrengeschenke auf, was auch für die Osmanen ein Zeichen war. An dieser Grenze wird es wieder unruhig werden. Und sie waren bereit, den Konflikt aufzunehmen und ihn sehr offensiv zu führen.
After the first Turkish siege, Vienna was rebuilt as one of the most modern fortress cities in Europe. Any invader had palisades and battlements to overcome. A ring of 12 bastions with walls 16 meters high was intended to make the city impregnable. In front of the main rampart was a ditch, 20 meters wide. Advanced gun emplacements called ravelins were to keep attackers at a distance. From the ravelins and bastions, Austrian artillery had a clear field of fire. In September 1683, there were 312 guns on the walls, but they were of little use against the Turkish undermining.
The Turkish moles beneath our feet were preparing a new blast. That was now certain. We were expecting to be blown sky high at any moment.
Wir können uns nicht länger halten. Wenn die Allianz heute nicht angreift, sind wir verloren. Übergeben Sie dieses Schreiben dem Oberbefehlshaber. Ein Hilferuf in allerhöchster Not. Und Michailowitz.
Ja,
Seien Sie vorsichtig.
zu Befehl.
Many letters written in code survived from the time of the siege. They had to be taken through the Ottoman lines. Over and over again, scouts in Oriental dress like Michailowitz managed to carry urgent messages between the city of Vienna and the Allied army, and incidentally, to discover the plans of the Turks.